Mr. Mamdani, a state lawmaker and democratic socialist, will be the first Muslim mayor in the city's history. By Emma G. Fitzsimmons. Zohran Mamdani, a once unheralded state lawmaker from Queens whose affordability platform and charisma fueled a meteoric political rise, was elected on Tuesday as the 111th mayor of New York, according to the Associated Press. The victory by Mr. Mamdani, 34, a democratic socialist, placed a final stamp on the astonishing ascent of an assemblyman who rose from anonymity to defeat better-known rivals like former Governor Andrew M. Cuomo, first in the Democratic primary and now again in the general election. His win represents a major triumph for progressives, empowering a new coalition of younger voters and immigrants who volunteered for his campaign, filled its coffers with thousands of small donations, and flocked to the polls to elect the city's first Muslim mayor. When Mr. Mamdani takes office on January 1st, he will become the most powerful Muslim elected official in the United States, a breakthrough for many Muslim Americans who feel pride in his success and anxiety over the Islamophobia his campaign has stirred, nearly a quarter-century after the September 11th attacks. Mr. Mamdani, who was born in Uganda to parents of Indian descent and moved to New York City as a boy, will also be the first South Asian mayor, the city's youngest mayor in more than a century, its second democratic socialist mayor, and first millennial mayor. He could face significant challenges bringing the city together after a bitter campaign. He must navigate hostility from President Trump, who has repeatedly attacked him, as he works to deliver on his ambitious affordability-minded campaign promises. Mr. Mamdani ran on simple pledges to make buses free, to freeze the rent on rent-stabilized apartments, and to provide universal free child care. The results in New York came as Democrats also won 3 other prominent elections around the country.
In the Virginia governor's race, Abigail Spanberger, a moderate Democrat who served 3 terms in Congress, defeated Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears, a socially conservative Republican. In New Jersey governor's race, Representative Mikey Sherrill, a Democrat, prevailed over Jack Ciattarelli, a Republican. And in California, voters approved a ballot measure that will allow the redrawing of congressional districts to create more Democratic seats and help offset Republican-led redistricting efforts in Texas and elsewhere. In New York, Mr. Mamdani defeated Mr. Cuomo, 67, who ran as an independent after losing the Democratic primary, and Curtis Sliwa, 71, the Republican best known as the founder of the Guardian Angels anti-crime organization. For months, Mr. Cuomo mercilessly attacked Mr. Mamdani as too inexperienced and too far to the left. But Mr. Mamdani built a formidable coalition from non-traditional sources, winning support from young professionals, immigrants, and Muslims, some of them likely to have been among the 107,000 first-time voters who registered in New York City since the primary. Mr. Mamdani harnessed the power of social media to connect with voters, and his supporters were drawn to his upbeat message and his energetic way of delivering it. "It feels like hope," said Michelle McSweeney, 44, who cast her ballot for Mr. Mamdani at a library in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, and brought along her 2 children. "I don't think I've felt like this since Barack Obama." More than 2 million people voted, a level of turnout for a mayoral election not seen since 1969, according to the city's Board of Elections. It was not clear late Tuesday night whether Mr. Mamdani would surpass 50% of the total vote, an achievement that could help him argue that he has a mandate to enact his agenda. A decisive margin could buttress the argument for Mr. Mamdani and progressive Democratic leaders that their party should more fully embrace their message.
But many national Democrats, especially those in swing districts, fear that Mr. Mamdani's name and brand will be toxic with the type of centrist voters who may decide toss-up congressional midterm contests and will be used by Republicans as a campaign weapon. Republicans have assailed Mr. Mamdani's plans to raise taxes on the rich and his criticism of Israel. President Trump has frequently insulted Mr. Mamdani and gave a last-minute endorsement to Mr. Cuomo on Monday, writing on Truth Social. "You must vote for him and hope he does a fantastic job. He is capable of it. Mamdani is not." Mr. Trump repeated his vow to withhold federal funds if Mr. Mamdani were elected, saying it was highly unlikely that I will be contributing federal funds, other than the very minimum as required. How Mr. Mamdani grapples with the president will be among his greatest and most immediate challenges. Some fear that Mr. Trump will send the National Guard or a surge of immigration enforcement officials into the city after Mr. Mamdani takes office. Other challenges await. Only 5 years ago, Mr. Mamdani was a firebrand freshman assemblyman who embraced the defund the police movement at the height of national protests against police brutality. Now he will manage a $115 billion city budget and a workforce of 300,000, including more than 34,000 police officers. He may also need to smooth over differences with some of the well-heeled critics who fought his candidacy, donating millions of dollars to super PACs to try to defeat him. Michael R. Bloomberg, the billionaire former mayor, spent more than $9 million to assist Mr. Cuomo, including a $1.5 million infusion late in the race. That opposition may be a factor as Mr. Mamdani seeks to build an administration that is aligned with his democratic socialist vision, but also filled with enough respected government veterans to appease skeptics. Mr. Mamdani has pledged to run a more ethical administration than his predecessor, Mayor Eric Adams, who was the first sitting mayor in the modern history of New York City to be indicted. The federal corruption charges were later dropped by the Trump administration. Mr. Adams, who had skipped the Democratic primary to run for re-election as an independent, ended his campaign in September and endorsed Mr. Cuomo. Mr. Mamdani was embraced by prominent leaders on the left, including Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York. Some Democrats refused to endorse him, and many Jewish leaders expressed deep concerns over his criticism of Israel and his vow to arrest Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu if he visits New York. Senator Chuck Schumer did not make an endorsement in the race, and on Tuesday would not reveal whom he voted for. But Mr. Mamdani found allies in Letitia James, the state attorney general, and Governor Kathy Hochul, who endorsed Mr. Mamdani in September and appears eager to work with him on issues like universal child care next year as she runs for re-election. By the tail end of the campaign, Mr. Mamdani's momentum with voters and Democratic leaders was obvious. Representative Hakeem Jeffries, the House Minority Leader, gave his endorsement on October 24th. A day later, Mr. Mamdani drew nearly 13,000 people to Forest Hill Stadium in Queens for the kind of rally more commonly seen on the presidential campaign trail. Muhammad Khalek, 56, a Muslim voter who is Bangladeshi and who runs a small paralegal service, voted for Mr. Mamdani in the Parkchester neighborhood in the Bronx. There is a little pride that he is the first Muslim mayor, but he's the mayor that can help all working people in New York City, he said. He talks about everyone. For Mr. Cuomo, the stinging loss, after once being considered the front-runner in the race, could spell the end of a long career in public service and the end of a New York political dynasty. His father, Mario M. Cuomo, also lost his mayoral campaign, but soon became a national Democratic icon as a 3-term governor. Such a recovery seems improbable for Andrew Cuomo, who resigned in disgrace from the governor's office in 2021 amid a flurry of sexual harassment accusations, which Mr. Mamdani and Mr. Sliwa repeatedly brought up in their debates. Though Mr. Mamdani sought to temper his past criticisms of the police, Mr. Cuomo used them to paint his opponent as unfit to fight the city's crime. Some of Mr. Cuomo's voters cited worries about crime in explaining why they chose him, but mostly, his support came from people who were unsettled by Mr. Mamdani and saw no better alternative. Jill Lennon, 65, of Brooklyn, said she reluctantly voted for Mr. Cuomo even though she disliked how he handled the COVID-19 pandemic as well as the sexual harassment allegations leveled against him. She felt Mr. Cuomo had more experience in politics, while Mr. Mamdani's housing plans were not realistic. "I'm not happy with my vote," she said. "I'm not happy with it at all." Mr. Mamdani's voters sounded a different note. Julia Friedman, 24, an actress who lives on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, said she was worried about rising rents and viewed Mr. Mamdani's youth as an asset. "He's just got this kind of attitude that feels like he's the kind of person who really wants to make change happen," she said.